make businesses thrive. And so it's very important that we are able to adopt pragmatic efforts, measures to strengthen the local currency. Then also, the cost of doing business in this country is too high, extremely high, as we all been saying. And then the fact that the government itself have recognized this fact and want to make some tax cuts. It's very important that we make some tax cuts and then also streamline the tax system with special consideration to the VAT system. The VAT is not helping at all. And so we want the VAT to be made more simplified, affordable, and uniformed. It should be researched. It's as simple as that to ensure compliance. Because that is where now it is not uniform by virtue of the thresholds that they put on the turnovers. So we have a one tax system that have 3 forms. So it should be uniformed. We are also seeking that the dollar be pegged quarterly or biannually so that it will make business, it stabilizes business, and then also the prices that we give to our consumers. It's very important that we do this. And then also, when it comes to duties at the port, we should do everything to prune down the number of taxes, levies, and charges at the port as they're comfortable for businesses. Then also to be able to enhance on the revenue, because government cannot cut all these taxes without thinking about enhancing on revenue. And this should be done by compliance measures, and that the budget should be able to identify the compliance measures that will ensure that people comply, and also make efforts to bring people outside the tax net to come in so that it will make the shortfall. It's very important that we do education, we do monitoring, and also put up civilized enforcement methods to make sure that compliance is enhanced to help get the shortfall. We also expect the budget to introduce the tax amnesty. It's very important. We are all saying that the taxes were very cumbersome and that we have to restructure the economy. We have to reset the tax system. We have to reset the economy. It's also very important that we reset our tax obligations, that we give us the tax amnesty so that we can start afresh to be able to do things properly. So these are among some of the things that I would say. By having done all these things and gotten the revenue, we have to be prudent. We have to adopt prudent measures to put reforms that will ensure that expenditure is reduced drastically. We have to be able to reduce expenditure. We have to scrutinize, evaluate the spending patterns to be able to reduce waste and the misappropriation of funds.
All right.
It's very important that we do
Dr.
all
Bing,
these things.
I hear you talk about. I hear you talk about the expansion of the tax net and then also the expenditure cuts, which we've talked about extensively even before you joined us. This administration, in fact, this government promised taxes to be abolished, and then also they're talking about widening the tax net. You say that you would kick against any introduction of new taxes, correct?
Yeah. So the fact that government itself has recognized that there's the need to reduce taxes, then of course government is not going to increase taxes on the same. like the duties, like the other taxes that the few of us were paying. But I will, however, welcome taxes if they are tailor-made to rope in people or businesses outside the tax net. That is welcome. That we're able to expand the net and identify certain sectors and make them pay taxes. So in that case, it's not a tax that is going to be added on the old one, but it's a tax that is maybe let's say the property tax that they are talking about is on properties. It's not going to be on duties and all that. I hope you understand. If we say that we have new taxes for mason, the informal sector, masons, painters, and then the what have you, and they are made to pay some taxes for their sector because people, we all know that they are not paying the legitimate taxes because of the porous nature and how their businesses are structured. Then, in that case, there's nothing wrong to add these new taxes to capture those people outside the tax net. That we do not have a problem.
Right. And I do appreciate the clarification on that one as well. So tailor-made taxes targeted at specific areas that are not being taxed as we speak. Well, we'll see how the details of the budget would also address that expectation. Dr. Joseph Obeng is the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA. And talk about GUTA and their members, import and export, and essentially traders who are importing. It's a very interesting list of the top 10 items that we import into this country. And that also generates another conversation altogether because we know the problems of this economy. You know, we've had governments that have made promises on turning around the economy, the structure of the economy in itself, import-driven, Gadgetsburg economy, moving from taxation to production. We'll hear what the tagline of this budget will be, but we know what the problems are. It's not rocket science, as we have seen, at least over the period that we have it. Now, inflation is trending from what we see downwards over time, but how does that also influence policy? It's a specific question that you would have businesses also asking, and how the way forward would look like. It's one that we also keep an eye on here on Ghana Tonight. After this quick break, here's what I'm going to do. I'll tell you the top 10 imports into this country. We should all be concerned. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly. to focus on providing incentives to boost agriculture and also deal with the matter of imports and then also the increasing cost of spare parts. And these are the expectations of another sector or section of the economy. And as I was telling you, we have from the Ghana Scout Service trade data, the top 10 imports in this country as of the end of the year 2024. This is it. Diesel for the Temare refinery, over 28.9 billion Ghana cedis. That's 11.6% of the total pie. Motor spirit, light oil, super, what we call petrol, over 24 billion cedis. And think about it. So when you hear people continuously talk about we getting a lot more from the oil that we have been blessed with as a country, this is the reason why. The first two, the highest imports. Now we have self-propelled bulldozers with 360 degrees revolving superstructure over 6.2 billion. So you'll hear the promises about the equipment that we import into this country for agricultural purposes. We'll see how things play out in the budget. Cement clinker. Clinker is the most important ingredient in manufacturing cement. We import clinker into this country of almost 5 billion cedis. So you see, prices of cement, at least for some time now, have been increasing and then stabilized at some point. The reason being because we import clinker, which is the most important ingredient. When the cedi is depreciating against the dollar, it influences the price of cement on the market. This is the reason why. The next is used vehicles of over 4 billion. That's just a conservative figure, as a matter of fact. You have cereals, grains, and then also flaked, that's rolled or flaked, over 3.3 billion cedis. Petroleum oils and oils obtained from bituminous minerals, that's crude, over 3.3 billion. And then kerosene type jet fuel, over 3 billion cedis. And then you have this one. This one, guts, bladders, stomachs of animals. That's the yemuadie and the towel. Those things that we buy. We import yemuadie and guts and bladders. As of the end of 2024, over almost 2.7 billion cedis worth of yemuadie and all those things that we find in our TZ joints into this country. Not the only one. They have herbicides, anti-sprouting products, and plant growth regulators, over 2.6 billion, all in there. So then the fundamental question is, what can this budget do? And the policies to address these items that take out so much from us as a country so we can produce some internally. So you hear the finance minister talk about budgetary allocation to the agriculture sector. We'll see how that allocation, which areas in the agri sector it's going to address, because these last two are specific to the livestock, agri, and those areas as well. When the Abosel Kain Spare Parts Hub earlier today, my colleague George Quaining spoke to some of the spare parts dealers there, and this is what they had to share.
Yes, Reno. Now can't say obejo. You so with my unit man buy no. On my no ema so yes, any finance then.
Say possible say dollar no bet me ko 8 cedis na mama to me ye money ko 8 cedis ah. You do money be channel.
I don't know the better.
Yes, because businessman yeah is
the Ghana yes, it's only about the dollar cedi stabilization. There's more to it.
Dollar or man we mu then na ye or man we mu. Dollar na dey crab bia then ubetuma be actually media ye or man we mu.
Don't you think say a high time I beg cast okay sisi and no my ekokran will not import again. Near making sure say business is organ ye be strong na.
Can so ye. See you bet me I can so yes anything was 24-hour economy. Ebeba. Na nyina nyanom so wo fie ne de ade so bi an so etime nya bia ye. Ti ne nyina kan we say no aye nya expect say oba implement sa idea because a very good idea with you know about a boy you know say friends say a juma ba kuna nipa miensa ye ebeboa
say ono so bank ebeboa ne but one say no money bebre wo ha ye ntimi nye wo ha no money bebre wo ha spare parts ni say ntimi ye ya engine any sa no ye de obekra engine yes de obekra engine parts
kantanka onu so engine
kantanka ye engine kantanka engine o ye ankaye say hu say kantanka timi ye cars nkese anyway say aje na tumi so tumi ye ka nkese nta not say onye sa cars nkitinkiti na mukromi matis ni musa type no betwa ye bebre a at least ni hu pass so be wo nti obeto bi kra na o hwe pass na ebe ye izama no na watuma ko na de bia o ye ka nkese no so ohia aban support ohia aban support say aban so hu say utumi ye ka nkese ye hu dada say utumi ye ka nkese nti si ano ye pese sanka kantanka se no ye no on ye cars nkiti ni bi on ta running cars taxi no man for betumi nti spare parts ni bi say ya betumi anya bi ato e wo no ho spare parts nso na maska e baka enye car na obeye na e beto no ba spare parts na maka wo ye car spare parts na monyo ska nti so tumi ye cars na man for oto na man for yusu na wura e bi say ya ye nya fi na e be ko abrochi akokra ukọ kontanka shop a wakope bi no ato ahye nti that will be the best.
Well, so this is a section of the traders at the Alfred Ocansey Spare Parts Hub also having their expectations ahead of tomorrow. This is the place to be for the coverage of the 2025 budget presentation by the Finance Minister in Parliament. We have a strong team in Parliament, Eric Mauna together with Michael Obodo, and the rest of the team will be in Parliament. We will be here in the studio as well, right from 7 a.m. We have Joseph Akablay together with the team that will take up the first part of the conversation. Roland Walker, Kemini Amano, Martin Esiedo, Dr. Myself. We're going to be in the studio to do also some analysis in there. And this is all part of what the President in the 120-day action plan, some of the budget expectations are captured there in there as well. E-levy, COVID levy, 10% levy on bet winnings, emissions levy all to be scrapped. This is expected. Review of the taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment to be scrapped. And this we've seen this done already, a convening of the National Consultative Conference on Education. They're doing the regional engagements. The no academic fee policy for all first-year students, we expect that a cost will be put to this, and then also the source of funding would be mentioned in the budget for this one as well. That's what we're looking out for. Introduction of the free tertiary education for persons with disability. We expect to hear how much it's going to cost and where the money is going to come from, and also the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in primary and secondary schools. We expect some cost to this and where the money is going to come from. So stay with us here on TV3 and on 3FM 92.7. But before we go, there was a release from the Foreign Affairs Ministry to the persons who are still holding diplomatic passports. This is the release to you. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs have noted that there are a total of 404 diplomatic passports and 387 service passports which remain outstanding from holders who failed to surrender their passport when the original publication was made. Now, they continue to say that individuals who fall within the underlisted category are required to surrender their passport by 17th of March 2025 to the Legal and Treaties Bureau of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs without fail, 17th of March, 7 days away from today. Former ministers and spouses, those who still have their diplomatic and service passports, return them. Former members of Parliament, irrespective of political affiliation, former members of the Council of State and their spouses, former regional ministers, metropolitan and district chief executives, state institutions, chairs and members of the boards, officials of the National Cathedral Project. Some of them have not returned their diplomatic passport. The Foreign Affairs Ministry says return them. Former political ambassadors and dependents, businessmen and entrepreneurs, return them. And former government functionaries and also all other persons holding official passport not currently serving in any official capacity for the state, otherwise holding any position that falls under the requirements of Section 6 and 7 of the Passport and Travel Certificates Act 1967 NLCD 155. Return them. It said surrender them by the giving deadline, 17th of March. Will be cancelled and placed on the stopwatch list for seizure at any of Ghana's entry and exit points. So if you don't do that, this is what you're going to suffer. So, yeah, that's over to you, to whom it may concern. On behalf of the rest of the team, I want to say thank you so much for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. Join us same time tomorrow for the budget coverage from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. here on TV3 and across all media journal platforms. My name is Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.